Good morning, or should I say afternoon, guys. I hope everyone is well. It is Tuesday, the 11th of August, and this is your daily market outlook for today. So, before we get into the charts, understand that the content on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing shared in my videos should be considered financial, investment, or trading advice. Trading and investing involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. Any past performances discussed does not guarantee future results. You are responsible, as always, for your own financial decisions. So before we get into this video, make sure that you guys have got your your subscribe button turned on for this channel to be notified as well when I do upload. Again, as well, there is a notification button that you can press, which basically notifies you whenever there is a video that has been uploaded. So make sure you do obviously do that before getting into this video. Just quickly pause it, do that quickly, and then come back to this. But yeah, getting into the actual charts before we do, obviously we just need to see what is going on with the news calendar. And as we can see, we've got heavy news, or had heavy news, should we say, for the Australian dollar. So the Australian dollars give us that heavy news, as you can see. Tomorrow's the big one. We've got CPI tomorrow at 2:30. So again, expect the big moves tomorrow when obviously CPI does happen. So again, just be very, very aware of that going into the market tomorrow. So you know how to manage your trades better, if to trade, if not to trade, so on and so on and so on. So let's have a look at what is going on. So I'm just going to quickly go to the daily. Nothing has changed, as you guys can see from a dollar perspective. We're just building up liquidity either side. And again, I think we're building up that liquidity for CPI tomorrow. I think I said yesterday we've got liquidity here. And then obviously we've got, liquidity here as well. So eventually, this will get wiped out either side. Either we're going to get that bullishness in, or we're going to get that market, selling off. So that is something that we just need to be aware of when trading before a big news event like CPI tomorrow. Looking at the 4 hour, you can see a little bit different. You can see from this perspective that the 4 hour is still from this high to this low. As you can see, when markets obviously melted off, we've given us this pullback. And then since then, this move, this move, this move, and this move has failed to break either this low or this high. So we're still bouncing in between that range, and that's what's causing that daily consolidation. So looking at market structure, one thing that we can obviously try and predict is the fact that we had this 4 hour supply candle. Markets obviously retraced back into that. We had movement away, and then market came again back into this 4 hour supply, and then it's given us this move. This move, of course, broke this here. Now that could be indicating to us, because we broke this low, that now market wants to obviously carry on shorting with this big institutional candle. So we've been talking about this 4 hour supply candle here. Market today has finally reached into that supply. So now it's about, okay, is market just going to carry on shorting and attacking these lows? That would be my more favorable setup as of right now, because of market conditions. But again, you never know if market does obviously punch above. I would expect market to be coming in to fill in this imbalance above, and potentially coming into these supply areas that we have up here. But for now, this is what we're going to focus on. If we look at the 1 hour, let's see what is going on. So from a 1 hour, you can see we've tapped into this supply. You can see this is where the start of that imbalance was. From here, we've come exactly to that point, and we started to have that shift away. So for me personally, I'm looking at this and focusing on the fact that we have broke this low here. But has the candle finished right now? No, it hasn't. So at this moment in time, we've got 45 minutes left. I want to see how this candle finishes from a 1 hour perspective from this low here. If we get a body closure, let's say we have, pardon me, let's say we have, nice body closure here, then that could open up, this area here as a 1 hour supply area. So hopefully this makes sense. If we get a nice body closure, this could open up to fill in this imbalance and then obviously carry on. Let me just make this red so you guys know what I mean. So hopefully we can see something like that. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let's keep an eye on that. I'm going to move that for now because the body of this candle isn't finished. Again, if you go to the lower time frames, potentially there could be more of a better scenario like this 15 minute, where of course, if you look, 15 minutes gone from bullish to bearish. And obviously you can potentially get market coming back into, around these areas here to sell off from. But let's wait and see. I do want to see that 1 hour candle finish before making a decision. Going into Euro USD, let's have a look from the daily just quickly. This is my protein shake, by the way. I know it looks a bit minging. So let's just remove this, remove that as well. Okay, so from the daily, what can we see? Well, we have tapped into this daily supply. Now we've tapped into that daily supply and we've had market obviously moving away. As you can see, the wick in and our market the past 2 days have been moving away from there. So is this an indication that potentially market could start to see that downwards movement from, this daily supply? Does it align with the dollar? Let's have a look. Well, the dollar would have to continue to push bullish. So if the dollar carries on bearish, then what we're expecting is EU and the other major pairs to carry on bullish. So we'll have to wait and see in regards to that. If we jump to the four, we can see that the 4 hour is pretty much perfect. You can see that we obviously have these blue lines, blue dots representing the higher highs, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Like we can see the structure that we're in. And we're in our latest structure, which is this higher low to this higher high. Now, as you can see, we didn't quite tap into this 4 hour supply area. We've come very close. But if you zoom exactly in, you can see we didn't tap into it. Very, very, very short movement, obviously, meaning only a little bit more we would have tapped in, but we haven't tapped in. That's just a fact. We have filled in the imbalance. So if it was to carry on short in long term, this would be the reason why. But for the market structure right now, our next area is, well, number one, we have this 4 hour area here. So if we just move this, you can see we have a clear 4 hour demand area. We have this imbalance to be filled. Now, ideally, yes, you want to see the 4 hour be the next area to go and create that new higher high. That is obviously what we usually want to see. But if we jump down to the one, you can see that we're obviously inside of this 1 hour demand at this moment in time. That's where the start that imbalance is. This is a 1 hour demand. So look, the way that I look at this is either way, we're going to get this market to carry on from here, or if the market decides to obviously push lower, then it could be into this 4 hour demand, and then we could potentially see that market then move away if the dollar obviously carries on shorting. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Again, don't ignore the fact that the internal structure is still bearish. If we focus on, the structure, you can see from here, what do we have? Well, we end up failed to create a new high, which means that would be our new lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. You can class that as a low, I guess. Pull back here, lower high, lower low. So as you can pretty much see, it's nothing clear on the 1 hour to look for the shorts from, but I'm pretty sure if you went to like a 30-minute or a 15-minute, we can probably see something maybe. Let's have a look. Okay, so from a 15-minute, the two scenarios that I'd just be aware of is because the 1 hour is still in that sell zone. We actually got this here. Sorry, let me just look at this. Hmm, pretty much, yeah, we have tapped above that, but we have this zone here, which we come very close to. Um, so again, for instance, if it was to carry on shorting, it could be from that area. Oh, it could be from that area. Or if market decides to obviously carry on bullish, from a 15-minute, you do have, this area here, pretty much. This area here. Again, I'll probably just cover these wicks here because market likes to seek liquidity and rebalance itself. But this is, like I said, this is a 15 minute. The lower the time frames you go, you have to understand the weaker the supply and demand zones become. So what I mean by that is this is a 15-minute demand, but if we go to the 1 hour, that's not a valid, let me just remove this. That's not a valid demand area on the 1 hour. What we would want to see, ideally, is the same as what I said on dollar. If we can get this candle finishing bullish, then this area here becomes our 1 hour demand. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So just be very aware is basically what I'm saying. Because if you look from a 1 hour, this is selling. Yes, the 15-minute looks like it's bullish because it's gone from 50 minutes bearish to bullish, but the 1 hour is still shorting. Be very, very, very aware. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let's have a look at GU and see what is going on with this pair. Daily time frame, have a quick look. Obviously not being exactly the same as EU. From a daily, what can we see? Well, truthfully, we've not there's probably a supply area that we can look at in a minute. But there's nothing like as similar to EU. If you look at EU, we're inside of a daily supply. If you look at GU, we're not in a daily supply necessarily, but we have reacted out of this daily supply. So if we look at the four, you can see it tells us a little bit of a different story. I can remove these now because these are valid and we have had reactions. If you can see, just to show you, we have had reactions that you can catch, one to freeze from on the lower time frames. But let's remove these now because now we're at this 4 hour supply area. The imbalance that was left, tiniest bit of imbalance was left above. So we are reacting from that 4 hour supply. If you look at structure, we had this as our last higher high, higher low. What's happened since then is we created this area here, and then which area was the official break? Well, look, we didn't break it here, but we've now officially broke it-ish here. So even though there's not a candle closure, you can still see it fully like what we like. Still see from this candle here, body, we did finish above that. So now looking at this scenario, you can see that market reacted from the imbalance that we have here. We had a bullish reaction. We failed to come into this area of demand, and we've been obviously consolidating in here. Now, ideally, I would like to see market come into this area of demand or this area of demand here. We've got imbalance to fill here. We still have some imbalance to fill here. Let's focus on this one for now. If you look from this area, you can see that, in fact, we'll go down to the one and it'll probably be a lot more clearer to see. If you look from a 1 hour, you can see that we obviously are bullish. You can see we had pretty much higher high, higher low, higher high. Now, we're inside of this 1 hour demand area. Is it the best? No, it's not. You can see markets slowing down, we're consolidating. So look, if we was to go bullish, then ideally it would be from where we're currently at, maybe, or it would be from this lower area, from a 1 hour perspective. Now, looking at where market is currently reacting from now, if we go down to the 15 or the 30, you can see that the internal is bearish still. Where is market reactive from? What can we see here? We have this area of 1 hour supply, which you can see market Asian consolidated, London open. What did we do? We took out this high. As you can see, we took out Asian high. We've started to obviously then come away. Market pull back into the supply. There's one entry, which again, you guys should know this from if you're inside of my course. And we're starting to move away slowly. Now, again, the 1 hour is not the cleanest. If I look at the 30, or the 15 minutes, sorry, what can we see? Well, you can see that even though this is consolidating, you can still see that the Y market is reacting from here, this lower time frame area here. Again, is it my favorite? No, because I would have preferred this area here because it's imbalance. So let's see how and what market does. GU from a 15-minute, I'll just be truthful, I don't really like the look of it as of right now. If I was to short from anywhere, it would have been from personally from this 15-minute supply area here because we have that imbalance. And we also have a lot of, liquidity above here as well. So yeah, that would be the area that I would favor. So let's see obviously what happens. But GU is, yeah, it's not the best as of right now, just being honest. Going into NZUSD, we'll stay with daily consolidating, nothing has changed as we talked about yesterday. 4 hour, what can we say? Well, I mean, let's be honest, the 4 hour is disgusting. Um, do I want to be trading this? Like you guys should know. No, I don't. That is literally just a big pot of liquidity from both sides. If you look, we've got all these lows and we have all of these highs. So yeah, for me, it's not something that I just like the look of. Um, Looking at this, you can see that obviously a bounce between demand areas. We had this big bullish reaction, internally been bearish. The only thing I can say to you guys is we're trapped between the supply and demand. So demand area we give us a bullish reaction, but in fact, we'll look at the 1 hour a bit better. You can see that from here, market is now reactive from this 1 hour supply. What is this entry? Like you guys who should know from my the Asian entry models that I teach you guys, this is rinse and repeat. And as you can see, Asian London Open takes out the high, bearish reaction. Now we've come into this supply. So look, if NU is going to carry on shorting, it would be from where we're currently at. 100% it should be. That's my main thinking behind this. If we're looking at the dollar, that would mean that of course the dollar has to carry on bullish. But again, just looking at NZUSD, that's what I would prioritize right now. Oh, from a 1 hour perspective, why? Well, look at the 1 hour. The 1 hour, um, you can see the 1 hour is, even though it's consolidating, is bearish. Lower high, lower low. So you have to understand that that's what we got to prioritize from a 1 hour. So hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say. So yeah, let's keep an eye out on NZUSD for the rest of today. Have I just pressed that again? Yeah. Anyway, let's keep an eye on NZUSD. AUD let's see what is going on. From a daily, we can pretty much see that we talked yesterday. In fact, let me just remove this, remove that, days, weeks, months. Okay, sorry guys, one sec. So we're inside this supply, but the internal is bullish, and we also have printed this daily demand area. Why is this a daily demand area? Well, as I said yesterday, we focus on the structure internally, higher high, pullback, higher low, higher high. So pullback, potential, go and create a higher high. So just be aware of that. It is a lot more clearer when you go to the 4. And as you can see, the 4 hour is obviously extremely bullish with higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So there's two things I'm aware of. Oh, has my mouse gone off? There's two things that I'm aware of. The first thing is I'll show you in a 1 hour, but we have this 4 hour demand. We have this imbalance to fill as well. So I was expecting market to come into here. We could still get that. Now I'm going to show you why I think we could still get that. Well, number one scenario is why have we gone bullish from here? Well, the why we've gone bullish from here and why we could carry on just going bullish is we have this 1 hour demand area. 1 hour demand area is there. You can see we have slow bullish movement, pullback, institutional candle, imbalance. So we have this 1 hour demand. This is where markets come into and start to get that bullishness away. So this is a valid area for market to just, carry on going bullish. Now, looking at where market is reactive from, you can pretty much see is this 1 hour supply. This 1 hour supply is obviously key because this 1 hour supply took up the highs of this Asian. This was the whole movement that we had yesterday, which it didn't give me a pullback into this supply. But what did it do? It created a load of liquidity. What can we see here? We can see high, high, highs. What's market now could potentially do is come up above, took out the liquidity, filled in the imbalance that we had left, tapped into a supply. So if it was to carry on shorting, this could be where that market does carry on with a downwards movement. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Again, you can go into the lower time frames, try and dissect it and see if you can um, see an entry if it's on the table for you guys. USD CAD, let's have a quick look at what is going on here. So you can see bearishness that we have pretty clear. From a daily perspective, I want to see this daily supply area met eventually, which we will. Give me one sec, guys. I'm just gonna let my dogs in. Come on, real. Come on, come on. Girls. Sorry, guys. The dogs are looking for some aircon. I'm the only place that has aircon in this house at the moment. Um, so yeah, I'm expecting eventually to come into this daily supply. But for now, let's focus on what is going on the lower time frames. So we can see we're inside this forward supply area here, demand area here, sorry. That's where market is slowing down. So that is, obviously something to understand. From a 4 hour, you can see the movement that we've been in. You can see the structure that we have been in. Um, our next supply area that we do have is this one here. So again, we do have a supply area above here as well. But as of right now, in fact, we will mark that out. But as of right now, obviously the closest one is the one that I've just discussed. So if we look at this is obviously the next one there. So let's see what happens. These two are the areas in which I'm expecting market to eventually come into. We've got imbalance here, we've got imbalance above as well. But for now, let's see. We can't really discuss much in regards to that. Looking at the 1 hour, it's not the cleanest. The only thing I can really say is yes, there was if you look from a 2 hour, I'll show you quickly. You can see this last candle is where we had one of our entry models that I teach for Asian. Hopefully some of you guys again seen this. If you guys, my members who obviously have my course, if you guys are not taking them Asian entry models serious, then I don't know what you guys are doing, just being truthful with you, because these happen over and over again. But yeah, beautiful little trade here. You can see gave a amazing reaction away. Now going into today, what can we see? Well, you can see we've had this bullish reaction here. We've taken out obviously the Asian high. There's nothing really clear on the 1 hour to look for any shorts on, but we have had this volume down. Now, one thing I can see is if you look at the difference of how many candles it took to build up this area here compared to these two candles to get out of this area. So if obviously from here to here, if market decides to carry on bullish, it would be from where we're currently at this moment in time. I'm going to use it as the body right now. It would be from where we're currently at. Maybe if I go down to the 30 or 15, you could probably see it a little bit clearer. So we are slowing down. Um, so yeah, if we do carry on bullish, I want to see these areas broke. It would be potentially from here. Now, shorting scenario, as I just said to you, I can't see much of why I would look to short, truthfully. Apart, like I just can't from these areas. Um, yeah, so I'm not going to come in here and say, oh, I would have took a shot from here because I can't see what I would usually look to see. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here. Look, either way, if we do get a bullish reaction, sweet, amazing. If it lines with a dollar, if it just carries on bearish, again, it doesn't matter because we will just follow the trend and follow the structure that we're being told every single day. So as for now, anyway, we are pretty much sideways with USD CAD. So yeah, let's keep an eye on it though, definitely. Going into USD CHF, daily time frame, you can see reacting out this daily demand area still extremely slow away from here. But we have had market slow down. If we go down to the 4, we can see even though it's not the best, we had market dip below this for our demand, take out the low here, and then obviously had market move away. Um, looking at, let me just remove this. Looking at where we're currently at, we're just seeing how market is going to react from this supply. We are not bearish though. If you look at the 1 hour, you can see that the 1 hour is bullish. You can see this is all bullish movement. So yeah, if we was to short from this supply, I'd need to see some sort of, let's say we got in here, a change of trend to then look for a sell. Because as of right now, this internal is bullish. I'm gonna just quickly look at the 30 and the 15 to see if I could see. No. So for me, looking at this, it's all pretty corrective. Just being totally honest, the only thing potentially that I would have looked for if we was to carry on bullish would be probably this 30 minute. Let me just show you this. Probably just this here. Um, that would probably be the only area that I'd be interested in. Asian, you can see we had this breakout. If we got this, then yeah, maybe. But as of right now, I'm just gonna be honest, USD CHF, USD CAD, they are just not something I am like absolutely, and obviously USD Japanese yen, it's not something I am dying to get in. Yeah, USD Japanese yen's pretty much similar. We've had a reaction from this demand. If we look at the daily just quickly, you can see that we have started to move away. We do now have, because of yesterday, this as a new daily demand area. Just be aware of that. Let me just remove this back. This is a new daily demand area. Um, next 4 hour, well, where does the imbalance start? So probably from around this area. Again, it's disgusting. It's massive. Yeah, I just don't like the look of USD Japanese yen at this moment in time. 1 hour is extremely bullish, as you can see. Is there anywhere that I would like to? No. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Look, not my most favorable areas. Again, if you look at the dollar at this moment in time, you can see this 1 hour candle is looking like the bullishness is going to obviously stay. So just be aware of that and the markets at this moment in time. But yeah, man, other than that, I appreciate every single person tuning in to these videos as always. If you've got any value, feel free to obviously drop a like on this video. Feel free to share it to some of your friends who are looking for free, daily market analysis. And yeah, man, I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care and God bless.